So who is Ankita?
I would say Ankita is someone. I come from a very small town in Odisha.
Hmm.
I have been in Bangalore for about 4 years. Started off as a content writer. Right now, I'm working as a content specialist for an automobile automation company.
Okay.
Have been freelancing for a bit, so I think you will find me working 9 to 5, and my 5 to 9 would be just pursuing probably hobbies that I've not done as a kid.
Okay.
So I'm very interested in a lot of things.
Sure.
So I think yeah, that's about me.
Okay. So there was a term which defines you, content specialist. Okay. So what is this
Yeah.
content specialist is all about, Ankita? If an individual want to pursue his or her career in your domain, so what are the roadmap he or she can pursue? Any talk on that? Kickstart.
Yeah. Right. So I will tell you how I started, or I'll just tell you. So when I started off, it was very different as a content, right? As a content specialist or a content writer, let's say,
Mhm.
right? So if let's say if there's a college graduate or there is someone in college who wants to start as a content writer or a specialist, what they can do is just to they may start with gauging how good they are with expressing
Mhm.
themselves,
Okay.
with their writing, how they and I think that's the first step, to understand how well you're able to express yourself,
Okay. Mhm.
how well you're able to tell stories, right? And then later on comes all the other things, to understand how a brand works, how what is the tone of a brand, what is the voice of a brand, how when you work with different sectors, how that changes, right? So that's a little advanced, but if there is someone who is starting out right now, see, all of us can write,
Sure.
right? So what you need to understand is how do you put yourself in a better way,
Yeah.
right? That's where one can start. And then there are, I think, with the inclusion of AI, I mean, it literally gives you a roadmap.
Hmm.
Because see, in the last 2.5 years, I have been using AI for almost everything.
Okay.
I think all of us have been doing it, right? So it kind of gives you an idea where to start, how to polish your content, whatever
Okay.
you have written, how is it refining it, what are the grammatical errors, and you can pick it from there. So I
Okay.
think yeah, that's where we can start.
So, looking into, let's take example of yourself. Okay. So once after getting graduated from a company, I mean, from the college, so what was your roadmap? It was a kind of a predefined career planner. It was like a let's give a chance kind of thing. How was it?
No, it was not. I had no plans at all.
Okay.
So I think it was around 2018 or no, 2019 or 20. I think
Mhm.
during COVID, I would say,
Mhm.
yeah, sometime during COVID, I joined an agency.
Okay.
So this is a tip for everyone who is starting out and would want to do something in content or design or whatever. Join an agency.
Okay.
Okay, that's probably the best thing that can happen to you,
Mhm.
because these people will make you work really hard,
Okay.
but they might pay you less also, but you learn a lot of things,
Mhm.
right? That's how I learned most of the things. So I was working for this small state startup in Bangalore,
Okay.
where I've learned most of the things. I started with copywriting, I started with blogs, articles, landing pages, everything.
Mhm.
Everything that I do today, majority of the things I've learned from there. So I
Okay.
literally had no roadmap, nobody to tell me. I didn't have anyone in my family or even
Mhm.
close circle to tell me what do content specialists do. But these people, the agency people, really helped me out. So if you're someone who can write a little bit but would want to know more about how all these things work out, you should definitely join a startup or a agency where they'll push you a lot to
Mhm.
do these things.
So there was also a term like freelancing, right? What
Yeah.
is the output, Ankita, when compared to working for organization versus being a freelancing? How is it differ in the both the perspectives? Like how working for a company make a difference and having a freelancing career, how it make a difference, Ankita? What is your view on that?
So I've been freelancing for about 5 years now, right? I think, see, I'll tell you, freelancing is very subjective,
Mhm.
right? It might work out for some people it might not work out for some
Mhm.
people.
Yep.
Like, if you are starting out, I would suggest that you work with someone like a like a full-time job,
Okay.
right? But once you have some kind of experience, let's say 1 year of or 2 years of experience, then you can start experimenting with freelance,
Yep.
because freelance is a very good opportunity for you to expand. But if you
Mhm.
want to learn, I think you should go for a full-time role. So I think, so freelance is very different actually, I would say,
Okay.
because
Mhm.
here there's no hand holding,
Mhm.
right? The
Mhm.
client will come to you, you
Yep.
have to start from pitching to, making them understand your ideas. You have to understand their ideas, how they would want things.
Okay.
So I think freelance may you get a little bit more control, right? But when you are working with an agency or a company, they will tell you what to do.
Acha, it's like a no spoon feeding in the freelancing. That is what I can mention.
No, freelance mein there's no spoon feeding, and you might come across with clients. Some of the clients, there'll be few people who know what they want. Let's say I was working with this client who had a nail care brand,
Mhm.
okay,
Okay.
and they wanted me to do their branding.
Mhm.
They just had the name in mind and they didn't have anything else. They said,
Okay.
okay, we want you to give ideas, how should we approach the Gen Z market,
Okay.
and so
Mhm.
you have to think about a lot of things here,
Mhm.
right? But then there'll be some brands who will come up with their own marketing strategy,
And,
own content strategy. So it's very different for different clients, I would say. So you need a little bit of experience there.
all right. So, since we know that you have been in this field since from 5 years, if I'm not wrong, right? So,
Yeah.
how is the market, Ankita? Let's assume that the first year you've been in this career and the current time in the market, how it is been changed, and how is the requirement for Gen Z or any individual who is want to pursue his career in this domain? How is the market requirement and how is the salary output? Can you talk on that?
I'll be very honest, it's really bad right now.
Okay.
Also, especially after the AI inclusion, it's really bad.
Mm.
Not many people are willing to pay you good numbers unless you know what you're doing. So here, what you can do is you need to pitch yourself really well. You have to market yourself really well, for which you need understanding of the subject of your own domain,
Okay.
right? Let's say I know something, I know ABC. I can't sell you DEF. I need to, market myself properly. So if you are a content writer, or if you are starting out, it's very important that you niche down, right? If you want to be a UX writer, you want to be a technical writer, you want to be a copywriter, you need to niche down. First you understand what kind of content you want to write, short form, long form content, and then go to, let's say, some of my friends, they are only into SaaS.
Okay.
Okay, then there are some of my friends who are into only tech.
Mhm.
Okay, and then there are some who write only for healthcare brands,
Mhm.
right? So you niche down, and that's how I think your expertise will speak for yourself.
So it's like if you are able to, project you well to the market, then there are opportunities. That is what I can say.
Yeah, 100%. Opportunities are there, and then there are people also willing to pay you.
Mhm.
Okay, there are a lot of people in India and out of India who are, let's say, even if you're quoting, let's say 25, 30,000 for like four blogs, they are
Mhm.
willing to pay you. But, or even more, I would say, very honestly. Okay, but then you need to know what you're bringing to the table.
Mhm.
So you need to be very confident. You need to have enough understanding about your subject.
Okay. So this is a part one. Coming to the part two, let's assume that you mentioned that this domain, especially this content creator domain, so there is no structured manner. It's kind of totally depend on the opportunities. If opportunities comes,
Yeah.
take it, learn it, and implement it. So there is no like structured roadmap, right? Let's assume that I want to start my career. So any top five skill set he or she should learn before jumping into this domain. Any such skills in your mind, Ankita?
First, I would say just be open to learning.
Mhm.
Second would be be decent with analytics,
Mhm.
maybe learn a few tools,
Mhm.
maybe something like SEMrush, something like Google Analytics.
Mhm.
There are then WordPress, and all these things are very easy to understand. Okay, so once you do it, you will get a hang of it. Learn two, three tools for yourself. Okay, then I would say market yourself really, really well. I think these two, three, and there's one very important skill that I would say, not skill, I think, I don't know how to put it. I think you need to be really disciplined, because what happens these days is that even if you're getting a freelance work,
Mhm.
you can't ghost your client. You
Yep.
can't, take up a work and ghost your client, which is what happens quite a lot, right?
Violation.
So only when you build that trust
Yep.
with your clients. I have clients
Mhm.
who I've been working with for the last 3 years,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
And a lot of my lead generation that happens for my freelance work is through these clients. Word of mouth, nothing compares to word of mouth, right? So my two lead generation sources would be either word of mouth or LinkedIn. I don't, do anything else other than that.
Kind of a
So I
network.
think,
I can say network. Make a
yeah,
network.
networking. Yes, networking helps a lot.
Okay. So let assume that content create versus social media creator. So both are different, or is it a single arrow concept? What is your view on that, Ankita?
Social media creator, are you asking about these influencers?
Yeah, that is what I mean. Yes.
Yeah, it's very different, I would say,
Okay.
because see, I think content creators. So I think I would like to be called as a content specialist,
Okay.
right? Or a content manager or a content writer also
Uh,
works,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
But a content creator is someone who is creating content. I think someone who is creating mostly video content,
Mhm. Mhm.
as we have been seeing on Instagram or social media creators. So content creator and social media creators are pretty much the same. But I think what probably you can call people like us, like me, is content specialist, content writer, content managers. So I don't think I am a so I can be both a content creator and a content writer, but I don't know if a content creator can be a writer as well, or they
Okay. So
can be. I don't know. I
let
think, yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, there's a thin line there, I think.
let me make it easy. Like the term specialist in your title make a specialist in a specific domain. That is what I can say. Uh,
Yeah, so
correct me
I'll
if I'm
tell you. So what I do is I create a roadmap, or
uh-huh.
I
Mhm.
create a calendar for brands,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
For their voice, for a brand's voice,
Okay.
right? But as a social media creator, I am creating content for myself,
Okay.
like videos, or So I think it's entirely different if you see.
Okay. Noted. So let's put a talk on your role and responsibility, Ankita. Okay. So let's take an example of your client. No need to mention the name of a client. Let assume XYZ. Okay. So
Yeah.
you mentioned that you leads are generated and you will be confirming with one of the client. So they come up with the so and so requirement. So from that timeline onwards, what will be your day-to-day task? So any just small kind of example so that our audience will get the idea what really you do. Yeah.
Right. So I think everything starts from the first discovery call, right? Once you get on a call with that client, you start with understanding what they want, what
Mhm.
is their goals, right? You also make them understand what you can bring to the table for their brand,
Okay.
right? So mostly discovery calls for me is usually asking a set of questions to the client to understand what they do, how they're approaching their brand or an agency or a whatever, right? Whatever we are working with,
Mhm.
what they are expecting from me,
Okay.
because expectations are very important, right?
Mhm.
And then how they think of their brand, who is
Mhm.
the target audience,
Mhm.
um, what else? I think these are the basic things that I would like to understand the first discovery call, and then maybe I send them a questionnaire with a couple of questions very specific to their brand, or to understand where we are going with this, and if they have any other questions, we do a second round of call to understand. And then I think, let's say I'm working on a let's say I'm working with someone. Okay, I'll take a real life example from my client, like you said. So I'm working with this UX agency. Okay,
Okay. Mhm.
this UX agency from Gujarat. Okay, these I'm doing LinkedIn ghostwriting for these people,
Okay. Mhm.
right? And they also want me to do their blogs,
Mhm.
right? So how we approach it is, let's say I'm coming to the blogs directly. So
Okay.
what we do for the blogs is we first understand what are the trending topics,
Okay.
okay, what are people looking for, right? And then we come to a few topics. Let's say I'm doing 2 to 3 blogs in a month. We
Okay.
pick a few trending topics, what is most searched based on the search volumes. You understand the topic, you understand the keywords, these are the things that we want to do. We create a rough draft of it
Okay.
and we send it to the client
Mhm.
once the topic is approved.
Okay.
Okay, first we create a first draft and then we send it, and then and then we discuss.
Mhm.
Okay, so they have their set of in-house team,
Mhm.
SEO specialist, and all these people. So they help us further if they want if they want any revisions. So there are usually at least two to three rounds of revisions. Okay,
Okay. Mhm.
so there'll be revisions, and then if there's any more content to add. So I think research is where we start with, right? After the topic creation, we get into the research, put all the data, all the resources
Okay.
in one place, and then we draft it, and then there'll be a set of revisions, maybe 2 3 revisions, and then I think usually it's good to go. That's how I approach it.
So, like here, research on the topic make a sense. So, if your research is
Yeah,
top notch, then I can there will be a mutual understanding with you versus client. Correct? Huh?
yeah, yeah.
So, as we talk about the market requirement, Kita, like when compared to private versus government. So, you mentioned that content creation is not only suitable for the private sector. Is there any opportunity in government sector also creating a content for government agency, government website kind of stuff like Beti Bachao, Beti
Yeah,
Padhao
I'm
kind of?
sure. I'm sure there must be, but honestly, I'll tell you, I think it's very tricky. I have no idea about it, to be very honest,
Acha, no worries.
because I don't know. So I think it's because government. I think that a lot of these projects, like you said, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao,
Mm.
or whatever, these I think they maybe are with a few agencies, big agencies, and that's how they work. I don't
Mm.
know how it works, to be very honest.
No worries.
So I don't know. No idea, sir.
It's just a talk because let take example of if a state there will be a tourist ambassador. So there to reach a lot of people, they will be having content created team, right? So just thought of asking,
Yeah.
but that's fine, no worries at all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anything you can add from your end, Ankita? What are the difficulties in this domain? What are the easiest path in this domain? Let's focus on the negative part of your domain. Not a negative, difficulty, I can say. Yeah.
Right. I would say so. Right now, one of the most challenging things would be AI. I mean, it is a boon that we have such technologically advanced systems in place right now, but also it's very tricky. You need to understand how to use artificial intelligence for yourself. So I think a lot of brands, a lot of people, a lot of clients also, they come to us saying, we don't want you to write AI generated content,
Okay.
right? So excuse me, I think that's a challenge right now, because they go, even if you're not using AI, even if you are writing everything from scratch, if you go and put the content on a AI generator, or whatever, that tool, there will be some percentage where it will show that 10% text AI generated or 20% text AI generated. And then there are some people who are very stubborn.
Acha.
They don't want even 1% of AI generated content. That's honestly not very possible, because depending on the tool, the percentage keeps changing, even if you're not using AI.
Okay.
Okay, because the patterns in which you write and the patterns in which the AI write, even if it's mildly similar, it shows some
Yeah,
percentage,
agree with that.
right? So I think, and then some people are very stubborn, they wouldn't understand that.
Mhm.
So I think that is one challenge, to make people understand that it's all right. I mean, we're even if we're using, it's not, we're not, I mean, there's nothing bad in that. I think that is one challenge. And I think also maybe because of AI, a lot of people, a lot of agencies have fired a lot of employees, is what I know, content people. So it's a little tricky right now in the content field, I would say. If you're someone who is starting out, you need to be really mindful. You have to really, really niche down and understand what are doing, what you're bringing to
Okay.
the table. You need to be really confident about it.
Mhm. Super. Understood. So, like we have this tendency to be expertise in a specific domain. Let assume that take example of IT sector. So I am currently in the IT sector. So to be a proficient in a specific domain, we do certification, to make to give
Yeah.
idea that he or she is yeah good at specific domain. Is there any kind of a certification in your domain also, Ankita?
Yeah, many. So a lot of people. So I think I forgot to mention SEO, right? Search engine optimization. That's a very important part if you're a writer, if you're a content writer
Okay.
or a content specialist. It's very important because you can't only write. Your
Mm.
content needs to rank, right,
Mm.
in the Google search. So you can do a lot of these courses. There are ample of courses from Udemy. There are a lot of courses from Google itself,
Mm.
Google Analytics courses that you can do. Okay, there are a lot of YouTube videos. There are a lot of people who have been doing YouTube videos around SEMrush, Google Analytics 4. You can watch those videos, and I would suggest do a cohort if you can. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn.
Mm.
There are a lot of people on LinkedIn who have these cohorts,
Okay.
okay,
Mm.
maybe 4 weeks or like 8 weeks cohorts, where they'll help you build your portfolio as well. So this is more like an internship, but you're paying for it, maybe
Mm.
something, you're paying a little bit for that, but it'll give you a lot of exposure there.
All right. So we spoke about its opportunities, and let's assume that I have decided in my mind to be an entrepreneur in this specific domain. Okay, so there is a question to you. Like, let assume that tomorrow, in the coming period, you want to start your agency. Okay, content creator agency. So, what will be your roadmap? From where you're gonna start, and what is the initiative you'll be taking it, Gita, from the scratch?
I don't think I can answer that question right now, because I am a freelancer and I have, like, at some point I had like 4 or 5 people working for me as interns.
Mm.
Okay. And I thought that I would someday take this to an agency level, but
Mm.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think it'll take at least 2 to 3 years more, because it takes a lot of patience and hard work. It takes a lot for you to have a team, and not only have a team, but also maintain that team, teach them everything, or you have to take full leadership for that. I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question yet.
All right, no worries at all. So, anything else you can add to the point, Ankita? What you feel that yes, this question gonna be useful to the audience? If you want to add some questions to them, or any tips, or any suggestion, or any motto from your end.
Mm, no, I think I've covered mostly everything. Just, I think, very tiny things that matters a lot in general, not specifically in content only. That we see a lot of people, onboard clients and then they ghost them. Like I mentioned before, right? You need to be really disciplined. You need to take charge for your work. Also, there are a lot of people, and this includes me as well. When I started off, I did not take my whatever criticism came my way. I could not take it that well. I thought, okay, why are you, questioning my work? Is it not good enough? Am I not doing it well? Right? I think we need to have that open mindset
Mm.
whenever someone is, giving you a constructive feedback. You take it, you apply it and understand how that can change you. It's all right. I mean, a lot of times things might or might not work for you, but what is important is that you have that mindset
Mindset. Mm.
that that I will, let's see if I can change something here and there. And you don't have to, I mean, try and not question yourself. And there'll be a lot of times, and coming from a creator's perspective, I would say that there'll be a lot of times when you will feel like you're blocked. You cannot write anything. You have a blank page, you can't write anything. That's all right. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's all right. I mean, go for a walk, relax, take a day off, come back later. I think, yeah, I think just these things, nothing, yeah, nothing else.
Well then. So I guess we cover pretty much everything. And yeah, guys, if you have any queries regarding the content specialist domain, just DM us, and I will be also sharing Ankita's LinkedIn profile in the description and the Instagram page, all social media handles. You can connect with her, take a suggestion from her, and you can just pursue a career if you're interested. And Ankita, I guess we covered pretty much everything. Thanks a lot, yeah, for taking time and joining us and giving a brief.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. And
Thank you for having me.
pleasure, pleasure. And yeah, guys, I'll be sharing Ankita's profile in the description. You can have a look into that, connect with her. And we also have a YouTube channel, subscribe. We also have a page, follow. And Ankita, thanks once again for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And yeah, guys, see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.